So the new DLC for Dead Island 2 recently launched, and I thought it would be a great idea to create a video about it. Dead Island 2 stands out as one of my favorite games from last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed both its story and gameplay. I couldn't pass up the opportunity, especially since the new DLC is fantastic and provided me with a lot of enjoyment. Additionally, there's a video available for the previous DLC named House on this channel. You might want to give it a watch after viewing this video, as the stories from the DLCs don't necessarily connect. They function more like standalone tales within the Dead Island universe. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Beatrice, Timecodes assistant. My voice may vary depending on the settings I'm provided, but rest assured, I'm still the same old me, no matter how I sound. Now, without further ado, let's dive into SOLA. Before we delve into the content, I want to clarify that this is a story walkthrough focusing exclusively on the DLC's narrative. I'll be omitting side quests or extra activities like uncovering secret doors for new weapons. I've reached max level and already possess most of the weapons in the game, so these extras aren't necessary. Consequently, I'll be editing out any downtime from the video, retaining only what I believe is worth watching. Additionally, since this is a walkthrough, it's important to note that the video contains spoilers for the SOLA DLC. Now let's explore the build I'm currently utilizing. As for the build, I'm sticking with a similar setup to what I used during the Haas DLC. I prefer to prioritize staying in Fury mode as much as possible, because it's exhilarating to feel like a zombie myself while taking down others. I made a few adjustments to my cards during gameplay, particularly the short fuse card, which I initially forgot to include in my build, but later incorporated. This build requires you to reach max level to be effective. And yes, it can work with any character, although some characters may benefit more from a tankier build compared to mine. Since I play as Amy, I've opted for a combination of agility and evades to sync with her innate abilities. Alright, it's time to get down to the business of zombie slaying. Currently, we're at House, the location of the previous DLC. To access the new DLC, we need to select SOLA and teleport there. You'll notice there's one available quest if we choose SOLA. Once we've selected SOLA, we'll teleport or fast travel to the Aurora Gate.
Well, Ames, you made it to your first festival. Shame it's during the zombocalypse.
After spending some time exploring the area, we'll hear a woman's voice over the radio, warning us to stay away from the festival because something even worse than zombies is lurking there. As protagonists, it's our duty to investigate. After further exploration, we finally enter SOLA. Once again, we hear the woman's voice.
It's too late for me, but not for you.
That's the same woman I heard on the radio.
And since we have an idea of her location, we decide to investigate. Little do we know, we're not prepared for what awaits us here.
Hello? Anyone home?
This marks our first boss fight in the DLC. Additionally, the zombie we're facing ahead of us is a new type that wasn't present in the game before, exclusive to the SOLA DLC. Surprisingly enough, this zombie chick proved to be quite resilient, catching me off guard during the fight. After dealing with her, we can finally enter the bus house and check on the woman who was warning us through the radio. Upon entering the bus house, we have the opportunity to loot some items before moving forward. The woman persists in warning us to stay away, but of course, we won't heed her advice. Additionally, there are notes scattered throughout this DLC, a feature that has become quite common in the game. However, since they likely contain filler side story content, we'll set them aside for the time being. Let's find out what Grace has to tell us.
You can just turn right back around and leave the way you came.
Nope. Not until you tell me what's going on here.
What are you? Psyop super soldier? You got alien DNA, don't you?
You saw my moves, huh? I'm just a natural-born zombie slayer. Name's Amy.
These broadcasts are public service. Stay away from it.
What is it?
The beat.
I think you've been through a lot. Trapped here, alone. It's tough keeping it together.
Right. Nutcase. Grace, just like always. Go and don't come back.
Hey, I'm just trying to help you. We'll both get out of here.
I can't leave. Won't let me.
You're not making sense. What happened here?
You're not going to believe me.
Try me.
I have tried my whole life. People like you don't want to believe. You just want everything to stay normal.
Normal? You did just see me fight a zombie that was whipping me with its intestines, right? There's no way you're gonna top that.
It happened at the main stage. Headline act on the final night. 30,000 people dancing. Suddenly there was this beat vibrating in my bones. Came from the speakers, but it wasn't music. It was something more. People were screaming, holding their heads. They turned in seconds. They all turned. It was carnage.
They were all bitten?
30,000 people don't get bitten all at once. It was the beat.
Fuck.
And the strange glass speakers. They had this energy coming out of them. I can still hear it.
I need to see it myself. What's your name?
Grace.
Okay. Grace, you chill here. I'm gonna check this whole situation out.
The beat will take you too.
I don't zombie. Us super soldiers are built different.
Right. The beat's coming from the Indie Zone infusion point. But only a fool would go there now.
Despite everything, Grace seems cool, don't you think? Well, now we know what to do. We have to check both the Indie Zone and the fusion point to see what's the deal with the beat and why it's making everyone go crazy. We also discover that one of the legendary weapons from this DLC is sold at a vending machine. Since I've already finished the main campaign and the previous DLC, I've got enough money to buy the Ripper, as they call it. And oh boy, we're in for a ride. This melee weapon is amazing. It has a mechanic of its own. Once we're done upgrading it, it's time to test it out in the wild. Would you look at that? One hit to the face, and the zombie goes down. You can also see a little prompt to your left, which states that the more you attack zombies, the stronger the weapon gets. And believe me, we're going to attack lots of zombies with it. Since the game is semi-open world, we're given the chance to explore our surroundings, unlock new paths, and discover secret doors. However, since we're primarily here for the story, we'll be skipping that part. Due to its proximity, we headed straight to the fusion zone to investigate what's actually happening there. Surprisingly, we didn't get to do much because we could already feel the beat itself. Just listen for yourself and hear how weird it sounds.
One of those weird speakers Grace talked about. Looks like a strange glass speaker to me.
We also observe that the sound originates from the DJ deck, but to our surprise, it doesn't work. We must find a way to repair the sound system ourselves. After further exploration, wandering around and checking notes, we discover how to fix the DJ deck by reading a note we found on the ground.
flick a few switches, and press some buttons on a DJ deck. Got it.
Now it's time to return to the DJ booth and become DJs ourselves. You can see that we have a new mission. Isolate the beat, which essentially means killing zombies near the speaker until it explodes. Once we've completed that task, we'll use the DJ deck again, but this time to encounter someone apparently from another dimension.
What the crap? Keep it together, Ames.
That beat. The rhythm. It's a pattern. Or a language?
What are you?
Compelling. Crushing. But it's fragmented.
Look, I haven't got time for your trippy-ass light show. I'm trying to find out about a weird beat. You know something about that?
I'm recording.
A recording? I've got to shut it down.
No. I've recorded it. Take it.
Are you texting me from another dimension?
It's vital you find the other pieces. Restore the beat.
Wait, do I know you? Well, Ames, that was a thing that happened. Whew. Okay. Back to Earth. She said I've got to find more of this beat.
And that's precisely what we're going to do. We still have the other place to check, which, as you guessed, works the exact same way. However, in this case, the DJ deck has no power, so we need to find a circuit breaker and place it inside a breaker panel to restore power. It doesn't take much, but when you don't know where to find said items, it can take a while. Once again, the player is free to explore SOLA pretty much any time, but we're on a mission here, and that's what we'll focus on. Once the speaker is operational, we have to eliminate the zombies near it, and you know what the best part is? You can use any weapon you want. I love it when games give us the freedom to complete missions however we want. Once this speaker is overloaded and destroyed as well, we'll return to the DJ deck to tap into the other dimension and converse with the mysterious woman once again.
That beat. A call?
Not this again. We spoke before. You texted me a recording of the beat.
You can transcend different realities. Clever of me.
Okay. Well, I think I know you.
I know someone like you. Different realities. But the same song.
What, like different dimensions?
The walls are thin there. Scraped thin.
Well, that doesn't sound good. How do we fix it?
Find the whole beat. You're the key.
Oh, God, this is too weird. I gotta talk to Grace. Why does she seem so familiar?
Yes, I am sure you're wondering who that woman is, but don't worry, we do know her. She's been around here in the game, but we'll discover her true identity later on. For now, let's activate Fury mode and rush over to Grace to share the news. Who knows, perhaps she has some information for us as well.
There's some crazy shit going down.
I know.
I found those speakers, and a weird-ass sound.
You heard it too.
And this woman spoke to me.
In your head?
No, but not exactly real, either. Like a retro music video. It was grade A weird. You seen her?
No, but this place, it's special. I've mapped it all out. Strange things have always happened here.
Great place for a festival.
I warned them. They called me crazy. Now they're dead.
Yeah, at least you tried. Listen, this woman can help us, but I gotta get to the main stage.
No, it's still there. It wants me, and it's getting stronger.
No way it's strong enough to take me down. I'm gonna kick its ass.
Head through the Eco Village. But it will be waiting. Year after year, they tried to run this stupid festival here. And I stopped them over and over, but they finally got their way with their big, expensive lawyers. And look what happened.
Grace appears to be quite frightened because of the beat. Nevertheless, we're making our way towards the main stage to address the beat and understand why it affects Grace so profoundly. It almost seems like she hears a different version of the beat, doesn't it? We need to navigate through the Eco Village to reach the main stage, and once we arrive at the Eco Lounge, some well-deserved fun awaits us.
The fuck happened here? Hey, zombies! Come meet your biggest fan!
As the prompt on our left indicates, we need to push the zombies into the turbine to clog it, allowing us to clear our path ahead. Once we've accomplished that, there's a brief cinematic that introduces the main antagonist of this DLC. If you thought normal zombies were wild, just wait until you see this thing.
Come on, Ames. Just like flipping a tire.
Talk? Put some fucking clothes on.
The creature we're currently battling is known as the Dirge, and it's a real nuisance. If we don't destroy it fast, it will regenerate, making our life a living nightmare. However, being seasoned zombie hunters, we swiftly eliminated it and lived to tell the tale. Even Amy had something to say about it.
And don't even think about sliming yourselves back together again. So, zombies can clone themselves now. Go fucking figure.
We're getting very close to the main stage, but before we arrive, we have some other technical difficulties to address. The main gate that allows us to exit seems to be completely shut, so we need to find a button that, once pressed, will open the main gate, leading us toward the main stage. After doing that, I went to explore some of the area to see if there's anything new worth mentioning, but besides some unimportant filler notes, nothing caught my attention. We're now slowly making our way toward the main stage, and once we reach it, guess what? We have to unleash the beat once again. After another series of technical difficulties, it's finally time to make some noise.
Come get some freaks! Anyone for a barbecue?
After destroying enough zombies to isolate and overload the beat, we need to get in contact with that woman again. This time, we receive more clues about who she is and how we can actually meet her in our own world.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Listen up. There's a beat, it's important, you're recording it and sending me the pieces. That's the TLDR. What the fuck? I already did this with 2 other yous. Like from the multiverse or something. This shit is weird.
You're collecting the pieces.
Yeah. But then, what's the play?
Recombine them. Find the beat.
How am I supposed to do that? You gotta give me some more to work with here.
Find me in your world.
You could be anywhere.
I'll be drawn by the beat.
Drawn here? To SOLA?
Yeah. And if I know me, I'll be dancing.
Dancing? Time to hit the club, Ames. Oh, shit. You again?
Despite the fact that our friend, the Dirge, showed up, we know where to go next. The club itself isn't that far away, but the path to it took me some time because our friend just wouldn't let me pass. Eventually, we reached the club entrance, but because zombies are in the way, we have to mow them down. After some battles and struggles, we jump the line and get inside. As we explore the venue for a little bit, we can hear a humming, so we go to check it out. To our surprise, the woman we're about to meet is someone we already know, if, of course, we played the main campaign of the game.
Fuck! It was you?
Ditto.
I haven't forgotten you dumping me into a pit full of sewer zombies, Princess Plaid.
Cadenza. And I have nothing to fear from you. We're on the same path, trying to understand what we are.
I know what I am.
Then why are you here?
You told me to find you here.
Don't think so.
Well, that's where you're wrong. Other yous keep appearing out of the multiverse. They gave me recordings of the beat.
Did we?
Look, I don't know what this beat is, but it's sending people zombie mode. We gotta shut it down.
Give me the recordings.
Here. So how do we stop it?
We don't. I only had one part, but with yours I can piece it back together and complete the message.
Are you fucking crazy? Give him back.
No. This beat speaks to me. To us. It's part of what we are becoming. I have to hear it all.
It kills everyone who hears it.
But not us. Don't you want to know what's inside you? Why you didn't turn like all the rest? This is the answer. You feel it too.
Wait, could it turn people back?
Only one way to find out. Combine the parts, understand the message. I'm gonna go get some help with this remix. I'll be in touch.
We now need to warn Grace about what's happening and essentially provide her with a report on our findings. The Dirge will once again try to stop us, but it's not like we can't just go around it or, well, even destroy it. Sadly, we can't fully kill it yet, so it's just more efficient to avoid it until we figure out how to beat it. Eventually, after some more Dirge avoiding and zombie cleansing, we return to Grace. Sadly, for her and for us, the zombies seem to have invaded her hideout, so we'll have to clean it out and close the door to prevent more zombies from getting through. Once that is done, we can finally check on Grace, and she doesn't seem all right at all.
Grace, what's wrong?
Too many voices. I can't think. I am not crazy. I am not crazy. I am not crazy.
Come on, Grace, we gotta go.
No! It has to stay here. It's in me!
Shit, okay. What can I do?
The beat. It's too loud. I can't stand it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know how to stop it. Just hold on.
Hurry. Please.
Now, in order to save Grace, or at least make her feel a little bit better, we need to locate where the beat is coming from. We'll soon discover that the beat isn't emanating from one specific location, so we'll have to isolate it at both Traderways and the Utopia. Getting to Traderways isn't that complicated. We'll just activate our Fury mode and head straight there. Because I enjoy being in Fury mode so much, I remained in this state until we've cleared both Traderway and the Utopia. Afterwards, we'll receive a call from Grace, during which she will inform us about our next beat hunting location.
Better. But there's one more. Some kind of tiki bar?
It appears there's one last location we need to check, Cinemoy's Bar. We're currently en route to what Grace refers to as the Tiki Bar, and obviously, our friend the Dirge has decided to pay us another visit. After carefully ignoring it for a while, we eventually arrive at the bar and begin clearing out the zombies and isolating the beat, just as we did before. Once we've finished with this task, we'll head back to Grace. Let's see how she's feeling now.
The returning hero.
That's me. You feeling okay?
I'm fine.
Right. Look, we gotta bounce. The beat is gonna get real loud real soon.
No.
I found that weird woman, but she was real this time. We've got beef, but I think she can help. She's gonna listen to the beat, hear its message.
Its message? Its message is die, everyone die. What the fuck are you doing?
It's hard to explain. Somehow, it's a part of what I am, but we might be able to use it to de-zombify people. We have to hear it.
I have heard it. Get out.
This is bigger than you.
Fuck off. If it's part of you, then get the fuck away from me. I knew there was something wrong with you.
Do you know, you're making it really hard to help you. I'll let you cool off, but I'll be back and you will be leaving.
Hey, I need you to do something for me.
Cadenza? Well, P is for please, as well as plaid.
We've recombined the beat. I just need you to go to the OSK store on Ocean Avenue and talk to Constantine. He has the file.
You can't go yourself?
I hit an obstacle, so I'm adapting. Do this, and we can finally get our answers.
Fine. But you better be right.
Grace seems pissed off, but that's not all. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse than they already are, we now have to involve Constantine in this mess too. If you're not familiar with Constantine, he's an AI from the main campaign and the previous DLC House, and plays a significant role in Dead Island 2. He might actually hold the key to this situation as well. For now, let's head to Ocean Avenue, clear out the zombies infesting the OSK store, and hear what Constantine has to say. After all, he helped us in the previous DLC. Why not this time too, right?
12 Sambuca karaoke queens.
Hello. Friends don't need a code phrase.
Wow, we're friends, are we? Well, my other new bestie, Cadenza, asked me to get something for her.
Cadenza's been bad, and isn't allowed on the sofa.
Sounds like her. But can I have it?
You are allowed on the sofa.
Lucky me. So what is it?
A song, or chant, 4 sounds, a repeating sequence.
Cool. Can you send it to Cadenza?
Sent.
Sweet. So what did Princess Plaid do that was so bad?
I urged caution, but you were rash. Now who's clinging to the edge of the pool? What's the point in trying to communicate if we won't listen to the reply? You think we're communicating. Kay's analysis suggests differently.
4 sounds, 4 nucleobases. G, T, C, A. I believe this is a code to switch the autophage on. The orgone spheres in the prototype speakers could only project so far. The huge speaker in the club has the power to be heard across the world.
It's too dangerous, Cadenza. You can't have that sound file. Nobody can. Oh, it's the key to what we are! Cadenza!
Oh, crap. Can you unsend the file?
No. The transfer to Cadenza is complete.
That sneaky bitch. Where is she?
Cadenza is located at SOLA, where you should be.
I'm going.
Have we been betrayed? Is Cadenza just a selfish witch who only thinks about herself? We're about to find out. For now, let's travel back to SOLA and see what happened during the time we were absent. You won't believe it, but the weather has changed too.
Where the fuck is Grace? Oh, crap. The main stage. She must have gone back.
It's working. I can feel the beat growing stronger.
Cadenza, wait! I gotta get Grace out of here.
I can control it. Do what you have to do.
I need to get to the main stage. What in the fuck?
Is it just me, or does SOLA look even better with this weather? Either way, we have people to save. But once again, Cadenza has a plan to turn everyone into zombies. So before we can save everyone, we have to stop her first.
The beat is so strong. It's in every part of me.
Stop, Cadenza! It's too dangerous!
It has to be heard!
On our way to the main stage, the Dirge decided to show up once again, but even this time we have to ignore it. We know what we have to do, so we can't afford to be sidetracked. Eventually, we reach the main stage and are welcomed by the rave zombie gang that wants a piece of us. We can also see Grace up there struggling and fighting her own demons. Eventually, after many fireworks and gunshots, the party comes to an end, and we can finally see what's been happening to Grace, or better said, what Grace actually is.
Grace! Stay strong, Grace. Grace, hold on. You gotta fight.
Too loud.
Fuck. You're a Newman.
The voices.
Of course. Grace, you have to listen to them.
No. No.
They're on your side.
I can't.
You're not crazy, okay? I went through this too. The voices are real. They're trying to help you. You have to let them in.
I hear them. Oh. They hear me. They understand.
Welcome to the team. You'll get used to the voices.
Yeah. You hear them too?
Not now.
The beat. We have to stop it.
You're on the bench for this one. This is on me. I have to stop it. Cadenza? What have you done?
Ashur Kalek Gutta Takji. Ashur Kalek Gutta Takji.
You're not making any sense.
Well, that was weird. Either way, it seems like Grace is actually one of us, a Newman. I highly doubt, though, that she can also transform into a zombie at will because the Newman powers seem to vary from person to person. But who knows? Maybe Grace can only hear voices and doesn't turn when bitten. Now it's time to face the final boss, Cadenza. To do that, we have to return to the same place where we first met her, the Eclipse Club. Once we arrive at the Eclipse, we notice that the interior part of it has been unlocked for us to explore. Cadenza happens to be at the DJ deck, meddling with the beat. Let's say hello.
Cadenza! Cadenza! Cadenza!
Hey, I'm with you. Remember who you are.
We dance to our own song.
The beat is everywhere! We gotta destroy the speaker!
Cool.
I can disrupt the beat, but not for long! You need to kill that!
asshole! Let's go!
One thing I really have to mention is that the music in this game is absolutely amazing. Who would have thought that we'd get to beat the final boss, which somehow isn't cadenza, or at least not directly to clubbing music? Now, I would let it play, but I'm not on good terms with copyright restrictions, so I'll keep it down for now. This fight can be summarized like this. We have to kill enough zombies next to the mini speakers so we can isolate the beat, then take the gigantic beat ball and throw it at the dirge to actually damage it. And yes, we have to do this while in the range of the gigantic speaker. We have to repeat this process like 4 or 5 times, each time getting progressively harder to do, but eventually we get to destroy the dirge once and for all with one last gigantic ball toss.
We won!
Yes. The beat is, well, not silenced, but it can't reach here anymore.
It was way too close. You almost fucked the whole world, Cadenza.
Let's not forget your part in our duet. You were instrumental in unleashing the beat.
Because you lied to me. Whatever. We put a lid on it. That's what matters.
For now.
So much for learning what we are and how to undo all this shit. We got nothing.
When the beat took me, it knew me completely. Everything I am, was, and will be. But I knew it too. It felt familiar.
Familiar? How?
Better that I don't say. Your song is strange. I don't know what you are. Yet.
Where do you think you're going? You owe me answers! Fuck! Grace saved me back there. I gotta speak to her.
And that was the final boss of the DLC. I have to say, this guy really felt like a final boss. I liked the mechanic I had to use in order to defeat it, and the possibility of it coming back might suggest that there's more story to the game or the franchise in general. Back to our story now. Even though Cadenza didn't answer many of our questions, we did defeat the dirge. We're going to go back to Grace and tell her what happened. Maybe she's also gotten used to the new her, in the meantime as well.
Oh, then fuck. You made it.
You did it.
Yep. Well, truth is, the beat would have killed me if you hadn't shown up.
It would have consumed everyone.
I guess you're wondering what the hell happened to you.
I know we're Newman. The voices I heard were other Newman, from long ago. Maybe the future too, I'm not sure. They started to explain, but when you stopped the beat, the voices stopped too.
Some kind of connection?
When the beat broke through, it let the Newman in too. But now they're both gone.
Crap. They might know how to stop this nightmare.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're not beat yet. Where are you gonna go?
This is still a dangerous place. The walls are thinner than ever, and the beat is pounding against them. I'll stay. If the beat threatens again, I'll be here to face it.
Alone?
I can't hear the Newman, but I can still feel them. I'm never alone now. What will you do?
Keep fighting for team living. You take care of yourself, Grace.
I'm sure I'll see you again. Down the line. Look, I shouldn't have told you to fuck off back then. That wasn't fair.
How about we just blame it all on the beat?
Great! Then let's never talk about it again.
Looks like Grace knows what she is, or better said, what we are. and I'm glad that she accepted it instead of turning rogue or whatever might have happened. So, that's it with the story of the DLC. I honestly really enjoyed it. As I said in the beginning, Dead Island 2 is one of my favorite games from 2023, and I will always return to play a new DLC whenever they release one. Keep in mind that this game is semi-open world, meaning that there are still side quests to be done, weapons to find, and much more if you are interested in playing this yourself, obviously. And yes, this saw blade launcher gun is amazing. And that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't hesitate to like the video and maybe even consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.